Yo, what's good, people? We back at it for another episode of What's the Word LJ Mental Podcast. As always, I'm your host with the most, LJ. Yeah, we up in here another week. Man, oh man, things been real interesting as far as this music has been dropping, TV shows popping. This almost the end of summer, getting to the fall almost in the middle of August. So yeah, I don't want to rush. I know some areas definitely don't want to rush the summer away in some areas, but yeah, it's been interesting. So word of the week this week is time. The reason why it's time because I'm looking at it from a point like things get better with time. Like wine, some things obviously expire quick, like milk, uh, cheese, whatever. But like wine ages like fine wine. Things get better with time. And let me touch on this jadakiss thing real quick, right? You had the versus battle last week, and I spoke about that a week ago. But it's it's crazy because I was reading somewhere that Jadakiss streaming numbers went up like 200% after this versus battle, and people starting to realize how Styles and mainly Styles and Jadakiss, but the locks as a whole, including Chic, how dope they really are. It's crazy that people outside of New York. I think the real hip hop heads know like um, how dope they were. Like, cause at the end of the day, I think Rakim said it best. He said it ain't about where you from, it's about where you at. It don't matter if you from New York, if you from California, if you from Atlanta, if you from Texas. It don't. If you from the UK, from Canada, it don't matter. If you dope, you dope. Um, but obviously, I mean, people know, well, should know that hip hop started in New York, the birthplace of hip hop, and some of the greatest artists to come out of there are the locks. A lot of people online, a lot of people I knew personally were saying, "Oh, Dipset." I know some. I got people on both sides. I know saying, "Oh, the locks was gonna win," but I heard a lot of people online saying Dipset was gonna win because of they got bigger radio records, club records. They dictated a lot of the fashion, which is true. Like the younger generation kind of comes from I think probably Lil Wayne and probably Dipset on the real, for being real, as far as like how the fashion changed, so to speak, came from them. Uh, but musically, I already knew from the beginning that the because I'm a hip hop head. I studied it, and I know others, which would surprise me. Even some hip hop heads I thought picked Dipset. Not that Dipset is whack, because they far from whack. But I already knew. Like I said, locks in the landslide. People know they could check my timeline on social media. Like I'm like, yo, this really I fuck with both, but it's really not even close. Like it's not. Locks gonna body them, and that's exactly what happened. Like, and come to find out, they was getting prepared for it. Like, it was bigger than just the records. It was the energy they brought and the performance, and they made it to like a skill. It's not just the records you play is not the only thing that matters. It's just like if you paying your hard-earned money, you going to a concert, right? You go see your favorite artist. Like some, I've even heard people so disappointed at some of their favorite artists, like I was just not that great on stage, and like the performance, people paying for that performance. If it's just about the records, you can listen to that in your car or wherever your gym, wherever you listen to your music at. You could do that there, but it's about the even Jadakiss said it when like why y'all rhyming over y'all word? Like you gotta remember your like people couldn't listen to that on iTunes in their car. Like that's real. Like people paying for the performance. They want to see you perform. That's what it's about at the end of the day. Um, and that just mind-boggling to me that people are just now starting to realize how dope. I think outside of New York, people in New York know how dope they are, but everywhere else that's not hip hop head, so to speak, who's more, I guess, known about the pop singles or the commercial hip hop records, um, I'm starting to realize how dope they are as a whole. I think Jadakiss has some big records on his own. Like a lot of people were saying like, oh, Jadakiss will have to carry the locks and all of that. And Styles, don't sleep on Styles because he got some joints too. But Jadakiss probably is the strongest, has the strongest catalog out of them. But yeah, as a whole, man, it was a dope night, and I'm talking about it again mainly because of people um, like the after effect of it is just crazy. I mean, like some of the biggest names saying like, oh man, like the Locks and Jadakiss, man, like they, like man, maybe he is top five. Like, but I already knew. You could check my timeline. I've been knew about the Locks years ago, and they probably played a lot of some records that people never heard of, like the Who Shot Your Freestyle, or whatever. Or some people don't know about the mixtape days. I was all on that with the D Block mixtapes and G Unit Radio, all of that. Like I used to go to NYC to get those underground tapes or whatever. And some of them mixtapes they got to be huge. Like you got websites for it now. Like that Piff along with others, they got a lot of the mixtapes. So yeah, they started to get big. But back then when they weren't as big, yeah, I knew about the mixtapes years ago. So overall, it was a great day for hip hop heads for sure. But yeah, it's just interesting the after effect and things getting better with time because the Locks has been around for almost 25 years. Their first record was 96, 97 with Biggie, and they still here putting like Styles just put out an album this year. Jadakiss just dropped the album last year, and I think the Locks as a whole just dropped the album, so they still out here. I haven't seen Dipset like really putting that out in a long ass time. I think Cam is really the only one that has longevity for real, as a solo artist. But as a whole, Dipset, they weren't unified like how the Locks were. But overall, it's just crazy the after effect that this has. Like people just not realizing how dope they are. It's kind of mind boggling. I mean, I guess I get it. The younger generation might not know. People was born in maybe 98, 99, early 2000s, they probably not gonna know about the Locks like that, or even the people a little older, but even some younger hip hop heads, like people that really study it, because it's wild now that people don't really study things anymore, like from the beginning. It's rare to see. That's one thing I appreciate. Like even stuff before my time, I know about. Like I know about KRS-One, Curtis Blow. I know about Kubo D, MC Shan, Scott LaRock, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. I know Curtis Blow was probably the first star of hip hop, and LL Cool J is the first ever superstar in hip hop. Like I know about all that. That's before my time. Big Daddy Kane, Rakim. When they first came out, that was before my time. But I know about that because I studied it. Like it seems like a lot of people don't really like follow things even before them anymore. Like people just don't care. They only worried about the right now, like what's hot right now. Not that you want to mimic or copy them from the past. It just give you appreciation. Maybe you can see like, okay, this is how this was, and learn from it. Like, well, I guess some people just don't care. Some people do, but that's how I look at it in things of time. Even as a whole, as hip hop time, there's so many subgenres of hip hop now that is crazy. You got trap, you got they call emo rap, you got the shit with auto tune. You got so many different forms now. But sometimes you kind of lose the essence of what hip hop really is. How it started. It started with the beatboxing and the dancing and the DJs and the parties. That's how it really started. And then the samples from older musicians with the jazz and things like that. That's the essence, the true essence of hip hop. So yeah, but just to see that is is wild. Now, gotta talk about this. So how do you? I'm just wondering. How do you get better, or how do you follow up a Grammy win? Well, Nas answered that question this last week. How do you follow up a Grammy? Nas won his Grammy for the first time earlier this year with his King's Disease 1. And last week he dropped King's Disease 2. But how do you follow up a Grammy? Well, nothing but released the best album you've ever had in 20 plus years, because that's what King's Disease 2 is. At first, when I first thought that, and I texted a few people that, and I put it online. I thought I was tripping at first when I said that this is the best album since Stillmatic, which came out in 2001. But then I listened to that. I probably listened to this album about 7 or 8 times all the way through. And there's not too many albums I can do that with. And it's not even just with Nas or like King's Disease 1 was dope. I thought it was a good album. But this one right here, this is next level. This is, I realize I'm not tripping. This is Nas' best album. Some people say best album since Life is Good. I've saw reports about that. But no, this to me, the King's Disease 2 is better. And I love that album, Life is Good. This album is better than that. This album is absolutely incredible. When I see this collaboration of Nas and Hit Boy, it's just like, man, they did 2 full albums together. Hit Boy produced every track on every song for 2 albums for Nas. And I'm like, this collaboration should have happened years ago. Years ago. Because they is in tune with each other. Like, this shit crazy. Like, they is really in tune with each other. Like, it's like magic. Like, man. You got the, I don't know who you consider running point and who the assist, who put in the basketball sense or sports sense. I guess you could say the producer's the point, and the rapper's the two guard, so to speak. Even though Michael Jordan and Magic never played on the same team, but this feel like Magic and Jordan on the same team. Imagine if Magic Johnson was in Michael Jordan's point guard for like a few seasons. Like this is crazy. Like this, they really in pocket. And I'm not trying to say Hit Boy is the greatest producer of all time. I think that's Dr. Dre. But man, this Hit Boy he's starting to make a name for himself. Like this dude, I know he's already made, like he's won a few Grammys already. But man, Hit Boy is a beast. You gotta give it to the man. Plus, I know he's produced like a lot of people records last year. Like it's man on man. Like Hit Boy is doing this thing, and I said that, man, this feel like Gangstar with DJ Premier and Guru, as far as that level of like chemistry. Like the chemistry's there. Like, and it's crazy. Certain people you might think is the dream matchup or duo team, whatever. Like when Kanye, when you first heard the announcement of Kanye doing a record with Nas, that seemed like it would be a match made in heaven, but it wasn't. And Nas admitted maybe if they had more time to work together, it would have been better. And that's not the first time Kanye did records for Nas, but that's the first time they did a whole album together a few years ago. But yeah, some matchups just don't work, no matter, for whatever reason, they just don't measure. But Kanye worked so great with Jay-Z and Rockefeller for so long. But with Nas, you would think like, oh, he's up there as far as legendary status in hip-hop. The names you always throw up there, top 5. Nas is damn near mentioned in everyone in the list. It's not just me. Like, I'm a big Nas head, but I hear Nas' name mentioned a lot when you talk top 5, top 3 of all time MCs. Nas' name come up a lot. So, when you put one of the greatest rappers of all time or one of the greatest producers of all time, you would think like, hey, this is gonna work. Sometimes it's just styles just don't work for whatever reason. I don't know, but maybe if they had more time together, it would work better. But this Hit Boy connection and Nas connection is just impeccable. It's man, it's incredible what they've been doing. Um, I don't know if it's a reach or not to say Premier or Guru. Rest in peace to Guru. I don't know. Maybe that's a reach, maybe not, but yeah, I think they what they doing. But I definitely don't think after listening to this album 7 or 8 times that it's a reach to say that this Nas album is the best album I've heard since Stillmatic in 20. So that's basically saying it's better than Godson, which is a great album. Street Disciple, which is a great album. Hip Hop is Dead, which I think is underrated. His Untitled album, but everybody know if you know about that album, you know what it stands for. I'm not gonna get into that right now, but I'm saying it's better than all them albums, and those are great albums. But just to, let me get into it really quick, like just a little review, like just things he talking about on the album from the how he set it off with the song Pressure, and he's spitting, and then he comes with this great storytelling on Death Row East, talking about how his run-ins with Suge Knight and Tupac. Um, and one thing I realized too, like I've actually thought about this a few years ago, that Nas and Snoop Dogg are in very unique positions throughout hip hop history. They both still here, they still alive, both put out a lot of legendary material, and they probably have the most, probably the best stories to tell in hip hop out of everybody. Even if you don't believe they're the two best rappers, I think that as far as hip hop stories, the things they were involved in, people they knew, like things they've been around and been a part of, like they probably got the two best scenarios. And I'm looking at it like, man, Nas and Snoop knew both Pac and Biggie personally. They knew them both. Not too many knew both. I mean, Bone Thugs did songs with Pac and Biggie both before they passed. But yeah, they knew both of them. Snoop has seen so many people come and go, from his murder case to beating that Nas, his boy Ill Will, like growing up in Queens of his projects, watching his boy Ill Will pass, to Roxanne, his history of Roxanne Shante, the story he told about him basically getting destroyed by her when he was young, and then he got way better as he got older, but that's basically his OGs, Roxanne Shante, along with some others, I'm sure, but the story with that, and Nas, I think Nas has a great, like, narrator voice, like, when he's doing them Timberland commercials and he's telling the stories, narrating, I think Nas has a great, he easily has a great narrator voice to do storytelling and movies, and like I always felt like Nas should do that. But yeah, just the whole, like, yeah, they probably got the best. Him and I feel like they got the most unique spot as far as like they still here 30 plus years, and they're not the only people that's still around. But as far as like the things they knew, like Pop Boy Stretch, Nas knew him too because he from Queens also. And he even addressed that in the song Death Row East, that it was a rumor that Stretch was in on Tupac getting set up to get shot in Quad Studios in New York. He addressed that saying like Pac was not set up by Stretch. But yeah, I think they got the most unique stories, even more than Jay-Z and some of the others. But I think them two probably have the best hip hop stories to tell out of everybody. And just how he said his brother Jungle, Nas' brother Jungle, ran up on. I wonder, did they run into each other? Because Pac, if you know the interview from the MTV Awards in '96, Pac says, "Bad Boy Nas, all that bullshit, dissing them." And he said on the song that Jungle told Pac it's on as soon as we walk about this. So did they run into Pac before they got to, because it's an infamous after party after the MTV Awards at Bryant Park. some people say that it was Central Park, but no, that's not where Central Park wouldn't be that type of area. I would think to have something like that. So Bryant Park made more sense. Uh, but yeah, but yeah, this album is great from the features. Nas even addressed that on how he winning the Grammy too, and that's not what it was about. That they finally gave Nas a Grammy. He addressed like phone calls with Dr. Dre even traveling to the West Coast. Like, yeah, don't be fooled by the palm trees. Safe. He addressed a lot, not doing features before. Be like, yeah, it's time to embrace the young leaders or whatever. And he recognized his position as a legend, OG, but still out here. Like, I'm a leader myself. Let me help these young boys out. I'm sure a lot of these cats want to work with Nas, but it's time to be out there, because throughout, if you know his albums, like, yeah, he did, like, he'll do like one, maybe two features on an album. His first album, he only had one with AZ, and second album, he only had one with Lauryn Hill, one with DMX. So yeah, he didn't really do features like that. But now his album don't got a lot of features, but it got enough to be like, okay, that was dope. I heard YG on there, like, I ain't expect to hear that, and I fuck with YG, so I was a pleasant surprise. A Boogie the Hoodie, and it just messes well. He even mentioned switching up his sound, or not switching up his sound, but he mentions like Imagine Nas on Migo beat, or Imagine Uzi on the Primo beat, like Imagine something like that. Just the different things you talk about. The storytelling has always been there. The bars have always been there, and also you got Eminem on there, EPMD. This is something I always wonder. Why has Nas never done a record with Eminem? I know M has produced before him, but they never rapped together. Well, it finally happened. And if you know the infamous line when Nas was going, that's another part of the storytelling, him going at it with Jay-Z. Like, yeah, Nas and Snoop got the best stories, I think, to tell hip-hop. But, you know the line from the song Ether when he was going at it with Jay-Z, Eminem murdered you on your own shit. A lot of people been bringing that up with this song. Now here's some people saying that M bodied Nas on this, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. And I don't feel like I'm being biased here. I don't, because I've always thought Eminem was dope, but sometimes Eminem fans really make you annoyed. Not at Eminem, because it's not Eminem's fault that his fans are out of their damn mind, or some of these nerds out of their damn mind. Because Eminem is a dope rapper. I don't think he's better than Nas or some others. He's not in my top 5, honestly. I'll probably put him top 10, but he's not in my top 5. But Eminem is dope, and he finally put him and Nas on a record together. And people, I think, confuse too when you rap fast. Like, people think that's like, oh, that equals like, oh, more skill. And it's a skill, I think, to rap fast, because not everybody can do that. And the rhyme schemes that Eminem uses that's a skill within itself. But I'm about bars, substance, like what you really saying. And if you really like listening, not just bob your head to the beat, if you really like Pocket spoke on that, don't just really listen to the words that people say in their lyrics. Don't just bob your head to the beat. And other people saying, like, you really listen or you skim through it. I really listen to the bars, and you really, really listen. It's not just about rapping fast. Busta Rhymes on the song with Chris Brown rapped really fast, and people was praising that verse, but honestly, Busta Rhymes wasn't saying anything. Like his wordplay was not that great. But and I remember when Eminem dropped that song Rap God, like, he was rapping fast on that, but to me wasn't really saying anything. But Eminem, I think the bars were there for this one. And it's kind of mixed too, like, 'cause I know a lot of cats where I grew up, especially black people from the hood, we wasn't really listening to Eminem like that. Like, we can't really relate to him, to some of the stuff he talking about with his issues with his moms and all of that stuff about talking about the crazy suicidal stuff he was talking about like early on. Like a lot of cats wasn't rocking with that. But lyrically, you can't deny he's not a beast lyrically, but he's not better than Nas. Nas to me has grown and evolved. He has more sophisticated bars than Eminem. Like if you really listen to that song, EPMD 2, Eminem is the last one on it. His rhyme schemes and he switches his flow a few times. That's a skill. Not everybody can do that. I give Eminem that. Not everybody can do that shit. But if we talking just the lyrics for a second, listen to how Nas starts it off. Like Cole's casket flow, all you niggas get dead. Like people don't even give you a rose while you can smell it, so I pick from my own garden. Like, come on, man. Like what? Like, dude, listen to what Nas is saying. Like, and Nas can spit a little quick too, but he sped up his flow. He had a small verse in the beginning, then EPMD. Some, I guess, younger people don't really know. I know all about EPMD in the group, EPMD, but some people. I was listening to some people react to the song. They had no idea who he was. So many younger people might not know who that is, but I know exactly who they are and the legendary status. But they were dope. They was going back and forth flow. But I'm just trying to break this down right quick on the bars because I get excited when I talk about stuff like this. So excuse me for a second. But But yeah, Eminem was dope, but Nas, if you really listen to the bars, Nas' bars were better. Eminem had the better, how do you say it? Way of like rhyme scheme because he started slow, sped up, slow, and then he switched his flow and then he just changed the beat a little bit. And he rapped for like a minute straight. It was dope. Like Eminem is dope. I'm not denying that, but we talking just the bars, and I guess this is what people try to explain too, because I think it's all Nas' fault really. He said years ago Eminem murdered you and you and shit, and people believe that, but the real hip hop head saying no, he didn't murder Jay-Z. If you listen to the bars, Jay-Z was better. Eminem, I used to say Eminem murdered him on the track, but Jay-Z bars were fire on Renegade, that song. But if you listen to the bars, Nas outperformed Eminem lyrically. So nobody had a white verse though. Not the shit on Eminem. It's just Eminem stands really annoy the shit out of me sometimes. Is him and when not, they don't really know, I think, hip hop for real. Like it's, I don't know. Eminem's dope. And it's not Eminem's fault, so I can't blame him. Some of his fans are annoying as fuck, I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, man. But yeah, this mainly been like a hip hop episode where I had to talk about Nas' album today. That's definitely was gonna be talked about in his album. And he aged with time, like a fine wine for real. Like his career, like he's still putting out, be around as long as he has, and still be excellent is incredible. So yeah, so that is going to be it for me today. The goal is to be like them, to like the Jadakiss and the Lox. And you see Jadakiss working out and Styles P talk about plant-based stuff, and Nas even talks about drinking the best water, all that. It's about really aging well, being healthy, and being able to be excellent in whatever your craft is, not just music, whatever you do out there, that should be inspiring to people. So yeah, about to be out of here. I'm out.